So in this session, let's just recall the properties of LTI system in terms of its impulse response, because we'll be solving problems on this. Okay, so we have seen the four properties: memoryless, causality, stability, and invertibility. Okay, and these four properties we will be evaluating, keeping impulse response of a system in consideration. Okay, earlier we have done wherein suppose a system output is given, we used to say okay, y of n is the output and y of n, the output is depending on the present value of input or past value of input, so whether the system has memory or it is causal, okay, or it is stable. We used to say seeing the output of the system. Now we'll be doing the same by seeing the impulse response of the system. So a memoryless system will have an impulse response of this form. So this we have proved. If the impulse response is of this form, c into delta of n, okay, then the system is memoryless. It is in discrete time. If it is in continuous time also, it is true. If h of t is c into delta of t, then also the system is memoryless in continuous. So that is one thing that we saw. And for system to be causal, the impulse response has to be 0 for n less than 0. Impulse response has to be 0 for n less than 0, then the system would be causal. Fine. And when it would be stable, if the impulse response is absolutely summable as far as the discrete LTI system is concerned. As absolutely summable means if you sum up all the samples, it should give you a number which is finite or less than infinity. So that is when a system can be called as stable system. Fine. Similarly, we saw what is invertibility. Invertibility means for system to be invertible, there should exist a inverse system such that the impulse response of invertible system and impulse response of inverse system, if you convolve these two, you will get the impulse function. So this is another property that we saw. Now we shall solve the problems on this. Fine. So the three, when we solve problems, mainly we'll be asked to check the three properties only: causality, memoryless, and stability. Okay, so let's just uh, see when is it memoryless. When is it memoryless? A system is memoryless, okay, if what h of n is of the form c delta of n, or h of t is of the form c delta of t. So if it is in this form, it is memoryless. You have to just check that. The second is causality. When a system is said to be causal, a system is said to be causal if h of n is 0 for n less than 0, or if it is continuous time, h of t is 0 for t less than 0. If this is true, then we can say that it is causal system. Understand that? Now we shall move on with the third property, that is stability. When the system is stable, let us check that. The system is stable if, see here, summation k running from minus infinity to plus infinity, h of k is less than infinity. It means that h of k is absolutely summable. Understand that? Absolutely summable. If it is continuous time, what? T ranging from minus infinity to plus infinity, h of t, now it's not t, it's tau. If we take, it is tau, okay? So this tau with respect to d tau, the integration, okay? This has to be less than infinity. Then we call it as absolutely integrable. So if it is this, if this condition is true, then we can say the system is stable. Understand? So I've given you how it needs to be checked. If it is discrete time, if it is continuous time, what needs to be seen so that we can say the system is memoryless, causal, or stable. Understand this point, everybody? Now, let's move on with the problems on this. Okay, so the problems would be asked like this. Number one, h of n is given to be 2 power n u of n minus 1. This is the problem given. Yeah. Now this, what needs to be checked, they are saying is investigate. Let me just give you the problem statement. Everybody just take the problem statement. Yeah. They want us to investigate the two properties. So how this problem statement goes, we shall see that. What is it? Investigate causality and stability. They've asked just these two, causality and stability of following systems. See, if you can see here, the impulse responses of systems are given. Earlier we used to see the output of the system. Now we have to see the impulse response of this. So when do you think this is causal? So for causality, what is true? Anybody? The system is causal. Okay. So if we take first causality, the system is causal. Okay. If h of n is 0. Okay. If h of n is 0 for n less than 0, then system is causal. Is that happening with this? Can you tell me? What is the range of h of n? U of n minus 1, it says. It is 2 power n from where to where? Let me write that. Since h of n is 2 power n from 1 to infinity. Understand that? From 1 to infinity it is 2 power 1. Therefore, h of n is 0 for n less than 0. Since it is 2 power n from 1 to infinity, it is 0 for n less than 0. Everybody understand that? Since h of n is 0 for n less than 0, okay, therefore the system is causal. Understand this? Now let's check the stability of the system. For stability, what we need to check? We need to check whether this is absolutely summable or not. What does that mean? See here? So let's take the second property, that is stability. So what needs to be done? If summation, or let's say, let's just consider this. Let's consider this, and then in the end we shall make this statement. Consider, what we need to consider is summation k ranging from minus infinity to plus infinity h of k. So we need to consider this. And if this is less than infinity, then the system is stable. So let's see, what is h of k? H of k is 2 power k into u of k minus 1, isn't it? So let's see what it would be. Fine. So this would now look like k ranging from minus infinity to plus infinity, 2 power k into u of k minus 1 because we have taken k ranging from minus infinity to plus infinity. So all n's would become k now. Understand? Now I've told you this is 0 from, or this is 2 power k from 1 to infinity, right? So what is this? What is this? This is 1 for k ranging from 1 to infinity. So that means this is 0 for, from where to where this is 0? This is 0 from minus infinity to 0. This is 0 from minus infinity to 0. And it is 2 power k from 1 to infinity. That means this would be 1 from 1 to infinity. So that needs to be written here. Okay. So therefore, we have k ranging from 1 to infinity now because the range is 1 to infinity. And it is 2 power k. And in this range, this u of k minus 1 is 1. So this is how it looks. Fine. Now, can you tell me what is this going to be? You are taking the power infinite number of times. So that means what you're doing is this. See here, it's 2 power 1 plus 2 power 2 plus 2 power 3, and you're doing it infinite number of times, mind you. That means, tell me, is this summation finite or infinite? Anybody, can you comment on that? If you're taking the power, yeah, it is infinite. Okay, so therefore we can say, okay, therefore summation k ranging from minus infinity to plus infinity h of k is equal to infinity. It should be less than or equal to infinity. Understand? So since it is not absolutely summable, we say it is not absolutely summable means, okay, its summation is infinite is the meaning of that. Since it is not absolutely summable, not absolutely, see, so this should not be confusing to the examiner. Since it is not absolutely summable, okay, the system is what? Unstable. We should say it is unstable. The system is unstable, mind you. The system is causal, but it is unstable. It is causal because it is 0. H of n is 0 for n less than 0. So it is causal. But since it is not absolutely summable, since this summation is infinite, okay, we can say the system is unstable. Understand? This is how we check the stability and causality of a system. Let's go with the second system. Okay, the second system is quite interesting. See here, this is the short way of representation of a system. Okay, so you have to understand it very well. Everybody just see here, it's 0.5 to the power magnitude n, they say. So till now we have not come across this type of a function. Fine. So before we go for testing the stability and causality, let's first understand what is this magnitude n means. It carries a lot of importance. See, the system or the equation which is being shown in such a short form is actually something that ranges from minus infinity to plus infinity. The meaning of this magnitude means for all values of n. Understand? So in the solution, before going for actual solution, let me give you a note here. So this will talk about, fine, how to understand this magnitude n. The first point is magnitude n indicates all values of n. All values of n. That is, for n greater than or equal to minus infinity to less than or equal to plus infinity. This is the meaning of it. So that means n will take positive values as well as the negative values. So that means, see here, n will have 0, minus 1, minus 2, minus 3, minus 4, up to minus infinity. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, up to plus infinity on both the sides. Fine. Now, can you give me an unit step function which is 1 from minus infinity to minus 1? Can anybody give me that? Can anybody give me a unit step function which is 1 from minus infinity to minus 1? Check that, and then you should give me another unit step function which is 1 from 0 to infinity. So you need to give me a unit impulse function which is 1 from minus infinity to minus 1. Okay, and again you need to give me another unit step function which is 1 from 0 to which is the function which is 1 from 0 to infinity. That's quite simple, right? So which is the unit step function, which form it is if it is 1 from 0 to infinity? Tell me whether it is u of n minus 1, u of n plus 1, or u of n. Can anybody respond to that?
U of n.
Yeah, from 0 to infinity, u of n is 1 in this. Okay, and here it is u of minus n minus 1 is 1. From where to where? From minus infinity to minus 1, it is u of minus n minus 1. Take it from me. Okay, and it is what? U of n is 1 from 0 to infinity. So how to understand this? Let me just tell you one thing. What is u of minus n? Everybody just see. What is u of minus n? U of minus n is 1, okay, for n ranging from minus infinity to 0. Okay, so u of minus n minus 1 means dragging u of minus n back by one position. That means it would become minus n to minus 1. Understand? So this is that. Why I wanted this range is, okay, see this 0.5 to the power n, or when n takes the negative values, see, when this n takes the negative values, understand, it is ranging from minus infinity to minus 1. When n takes the positive values including 0, it is ranging from minus infinity to 0. This needs to be told. Is that understood? So this is something that I just wanted to, okay, understand. This for your understanding. And you should not be forgetting this. Fine. So in the solution, let's say the given h of n, the given h of n can be written in expanded form. As, what is it? Everybody see here. Everybody see. H of n can be now written in expanded form like this. Let me write that here. So this is equal to 0.5 to the power minus n. So it will take minus n. It will take negative value, okay, when it is ranging from what? Minus infinity to minus 1. And it takes the positive values of n. It takes the positive values of n when it is ranging from 0 to infinity. Everybody get this point? So writing this is very important when magnitude n is given. What is the meaning of this? Magnitude n means it ranges from minus infinity to plus infinity. Minus infinity to plus infinity means there are negative values of n as well as positive values of n. including 0. So for negative values of n, okay, see, when n takes negative value, it ranges from minus infinity to minus 1. So it is into u of minus n minus 1. So that means this is 0.5 to the power minus n from minus infinity to minus 1. So then remaining samples are from 0 to infinity. So from 0 to infinity means, so this is 0.5 to the power n from 0 to infinity. So this is what is the meaning of it. Fine. So let's, this is the expanded form I wanted you to take. Fine. So let's write that here. Is this okay with you, everybody? Now let's go with testing. Okay. Now is this h of n 0 for n less than 0? Anybody? Is this 0 for n less than 0? No, because it ranges from minus infinity to plus infinity. See here, since let's check first thing, that is causality we are testing. Since h of n ranges from n equal to minus infinity to plus infinity, okay, comma, since it ranges from minus infinity to plus infinity, h of n is not equal to 0 for n less than 0. So therefore, the system is not causal. Therefore, the system is, we can say, not causal or non-causal. Quite simple thing. If h of n is non-zero for n less than 0, then we can straight away say that it is non-causal. How can we say that it is non-zero for n less than 0? Because it ranges from minus infinity to plus infinity. Is this understood, everybody? So this is very straightforward problem. Now let's see the stability. Stability is little mathematical because we need to check the summation whether it is finite or not. Okay, so a little mathematics is involved when stability comes into picture. So that is what is this. You have to consider, find summation k ranging from minus infinity to plus infinity h of k. Fine. So we have to write the expanded form of h of k so that we'll understand the range. Okay. So that is, this is k ranging from minus infinity to plus infinity. What is it? It is 0.5 to the power minus k. In place of n, let's write k. That's it. It's 0.5 to the power k, right, into u of minus k minus 1 plus 0.5 to the power k into u of k. So this is what is our h of k. Fine. Now let's take the summation inside. Fine. Let's take the summation inside. So how this would look like? It looks like this: minus infinity to infinity, 0.5 to the power k, u of minus k minus 1. Okay. So that is applicable to the second term also. Okay. So it is written as this. Fine, this u of k minus 1 is 1 for k ranging from minus infinity to minus 1. And this u of k is 1 for k ranging from 0 to infinity. Understand? Therefore, this can be written as here summation k ranging from minus infinity to minus 1. So so it is minus k, mind you, see here. From minus infinity to minus 1, it is 0.5 to the power minus k, and it is 1. U of minus k minus 1 is 1 from minus infinity to minus 1. Plus, now here, what would this summation be? Anybody? What values it will take, the k will take here? Can anybody tell me? For k ranging from where to where, it is 0.5 to the power k, and u of k is 1. So for k ranging from 0 to infinity, see, So see the range that we have covered now. So minus infinity to minus 1 we have covered. Then from there on 0 to infinity also we have covered. That means we have covered the whole range of k ranging from minus infinity to plus infinity. So that is what is the meaning of magnitude n or magnitude k. Fine. So let's deal with this summation now. So again, it's good if you can bring it to the what standard summations. So we shall see what standard summations are. Fine. Now in the first term, second summation is anyways in its standard form. Okay. Now let's bring the first term into the standard form. Fine. Substitute k equal to minus m in first term. Okay, so it looks like this. It looks like m ranging from what? 1 to infinity. I'll just interchange and interchange. Let me just not write that. You can understand it. Okay, otherwise it may become confusing. Fine. So it is from 1 to infinity because m is k is minus m, so it becomes positive. Understand? So instead of writing it from infinity to 1, I'm writing it from 1 to infinity. That's it. Fine. And it is 0.5 to the power m plus k ranging from 0 to infinity 0.5 to the power k. That's it. Now, this is standard summation. Can you tell me what standard summation is that? See here? Everybody see here? Summation k ranging from say n to infinity, let's say, and you have 0.5 to the power what k. So can you tell me what is this? It is, anybody can you give me this? If it is from 0 to infinity, let me write that. So instead of 0.5, let's try generalize it. Let's take it as a. Okay, we know that a par k when k is ranging from n to infinity is a to the power n divided by 1 minus a when n is less than 1. So this is the standard summation. So if see n is 1 here, so it is a power 1 divided by 1 minus a. N is 1 here. Okay, so it is a power 1 divided by 1 minus a. Here n is 0. So it is a power 0 divided by 1 minus a. So in other words, or, so this is one thing. Or if you have k ranging from 0 to infinity, a power k means we directly write it as 1 by 1 minus a, right? What is it? Well, why it is 1 by 1 minus a? It is 1 by 1 minus a because this is 0. So it is a power 1. Understand that? So these are the standard summations that one needs to understand. Fine. So therefore we can write, therefore summation k ranging from minus infinity to plus infinity 0.5 sorry, it's not, let's not write 0.5, let's write h of k is actually given by, see now everybody, how can I write this summation? Let me put this in box. So this is just for your reference. You have to write this, but don't confuse this with something that continuation of this. No, it is just, we are just trying to represent this in standard form. Fine. So therefore this is what now? So this is 0.5. The first term is 0.5, okay, divided by 1 minus 0.5. This is possible because 0.5 is less than 1. Plus, how can I write the second term? Second term can be written as 1 by 1 minus 0.5. right? 1 minus 0.5 is can be taken common in both the terms. It's there, so it's 0.5. It's 1 by 2. Okay, so it looks like what? 1.5 divided by 1 by 2. So that means it is 3. So that means it is less than infinity. Fine. So therefore, h of k is absolutely summable. It's absolutely summable because this summation is less than infinity. It is 3. It's a finite number. Understand? Since it is absolutely summable, the system is what? Bibo stable. Fine. So bounded input, instead of saying bounded input, bounded output, we can just say stable. Not a problem. Understand that? So this is how we check for causality and stability. Okay. So this problem is very important from the point of view, because from the point of view that n is given as magnitude n, which means that n takes all the values possible. That is minus infinity to plus infinity. Is that understood, everybody? Now let's see the step response of LTI system. Okay, what is step response? Step response means what is impulse response? See, let me just answer this. What is impulse response? Anybody would like to answer this? We have been seeing this, right? What is impulse response? The response to impulse. What is this? The answer is response of the system to what? Impulse function. Response of the system from impulse to impulse function, or in other words, okay, impulse response is output of the system when input is impulse function. When input is impulse function, the output is impulse response. Understand that? So pictorially, if you have to express that, if I have to tell you that, see here, this is an LTI system. Fine. So to this LTI system, if the input is delta of n, the output is h of n, impulse response. If the input is impulse function, the output is impulse response. Okay, so it need not be true only for discrete time. It is even true for continuous time. Understand that? Okay, because it is response to the input. If the input is impulse response, the output is impulse, sorry, if the input is impulse function, then the output is impulse response. So in that sense, what is step response? What is step response? If impulse response is the output of the system when input is impulse function, then step response is the output of an LTI system if the input is unit step function. That's it. Okay, so what is step response? So let's write that. Okay, what is step response or unit step response? You can say anything. Fine, so that is this. You have an LTI system. Fine, and this is the response. This is how the response is going to look like. I'm telling you, the input is u of n. When the input is u of n, okay, the output is s of n. Okay, so this is called as step response, and this is step function or unit step function. Understand that? So this is what it is. So let's take problems on this now. So let's obtain the equation for step response before we go with the problems, because we have to see the equation. So we have to obtain the equation for step response, and we have to use that equation for obtaining the step response for system. Let's obtain the equation first. Okay. So the question would go like this for that. Okay. Derive the equation for step response of an LTI system. So this is the derivation which we are seeing now. Fine. So let's write the block diagram. Okay, in the derivation also, because this would be very clear to the examiner if we do this. So this will make him understand that okay, we understand what step response is. And every LTI system, if you take, every LTI system has got its what? What is this? Anybody? Every LTI system is identified by this h of n. What is h of n? It is impulse response of an LTI system. Every LTI system is identified by its impulse response. Okay, and the input to this LTI system, let's say, is unit step response. Okay, then the output is step response. Okay, so therefore step response can be given by here s of n equal to, fine. So what is the input there? Input is u of n. Fine. Or let me just write this. Yeah, input is u of n. Output is, sorry, it's not output. Impulse response is h of n. Everybody understand that? So since this is an LTI system, the step response of an LTI system can be given as the convolution sum of unit step response and the unit step function and the impulse response. So if you obtain the convolution of this, you are through. Understand that? Okay. So this can be written as h of n convolution u of n. Why? Since what convolution is, since convolution is commutative, this can be done. Understand that? Now with this I can write this equation as summation k ranging from minus infinity to plus infinity h of k u of n minus k. Now what is u of n minus k? U of n minus k is 1. From where to where? For k ranging from minus infinity to n. Understand that? So what we can say is, since u of n minus k is equal to 1 for k ranging from minus infinity to n, it implies that our s of n, the step response, can be given as summation k ranging from minus infinity to n into h of k, because u of n minus k is 1. So this is your step response. So this is your step response in terms of the impulse response. Step response in terms of the impulse response. So if you're asked to obtain the step response of the system, okay, so this is the equation you'll be making use of. Fine. Similarly, if we have the continuous time, okay, similarly for continuous time LTI system, impulse response S of t is given by integration tau ranging from minus infinity to plus infinity h of tau d tau. So this is the step response of a continuous time LTI system, mind you. Okay. So now using this equation, we need to find the unit step responses. Fine. Now let's take those problems now. Everybody take the heading as problems. Fine. They are asking us evaluate the step response. Step response of the following systems. So we have to evaluate step response of the following systems. So given would be what? So given would be, see the first one is h of n is given as half to the power n u of n. Understand? And in this case, if we sketch this, it looks very simple. And before sketching, let's take this equation. What is that equation? Step response S of n is summation k ranging from minus infinity to n into h of k. Sorry, it's not into h of k, it's summation of h of k, where k is ranging from minus infinity to n. Understand? Which means that it is summation k ranging from minus infinity to n half to the power k. Now h of k means k, n needs to be replaced by k into u of k. Right? So now let's just sketch this much. What is the range of u of k? What is the range of u of k? U of k is 1 from 0 to infinity. So that means this whole signal is half power k from 0 to infinity. So if I sketch that, see, so since half is less than 1, okay, any number which is less than 1 to the power k from 0 to infinity would be a decaying exponential, mind you. Okay, at 0 you have 1. Let's say at 0 you have 1. Fine. Then for 1 it is 0.5. For 1 it is 0.5. For 2 it is 0.25. For 3 it is 0.125. So it's decaying exponentially is what we understand. Understand here? So this is your k and this is your h of k. This is how h of k looks like. Now see here. Now this is k, this is n. Everybody should observe here, very important. If you don't catch this point, you'll not understand. So from minus infinity to n, do you think from minus infinity to 0 there is a signal here? From minus infinity to minus 1, do you think there is a signal? No signal. So that means when would there be an overlapping? Now we don't see two signals. We just see this summation and we see this signal. When it is going from minus infinity to n, see from minus infinity to minus 1, there is no signal at all. So actually the overlapping will start from where to where? It starts from 0 to n. From minus infinity to minus 1, it is 0. Yes or no? Everybody understand that? So let's write the case. When this n, see this, when this n is less than 0, there is no step response. When this n is greater than or equal to 0, there is step response. Everybody understand that point? Yes. So let's write that. Fine. So everybody should understand this. We have to see this n. Fine. So when n is less than 0, okay, s of n is 0, because here this n I'm talking about. This is the n. Let me just show you. This is case 1. Case 2 is what? Case 2 is when this n is greater than or equal to 0. When this n is greater than or equal to 0. What is s of n? S of n is what? S of n would be this. Summation k ranging from what? We have to take it from 0 to n now. 0 to n, because for it is when n greater than or equal to 0 is what I'm taking. So n greater than or equal to 0 only we have to take in the summation. Fine. When it is summation 0 to n, and in that range it is half to the power k, and in that range u of k is 1. It is just this. Fine. So it would be what? By standard summation. What is the standard summation? We know that summation k ranging from 0 to n a power k is 1 minus a to the power n plus 1 divided by 1 minus a when a is less than 1. So since half is less than 1, okay, we can use this particular standard summation. Therefore, s of n can be given as 1 minus half to the power, okay, n plus 1 divided by 1 minus half. That's it. Okay, and this can be given as 2 into what? 1 minus half to the power n plus 1. So this is what is your step response. So this is from where to where? Therefore, let's summarize. This is again summarizing. Summary. What is the summary? S of n is 0 for n less than 0, and it is 2 into 1 minus half to the power n plus 1 for n greater than or equal to 0. Or it can even be written as S of n equal to 2 into 1 minus half to the power n plus 1, okay, into u of n, because it is 0 from for n less than 0, and it is 1 from, it is this from 0 to infinity. So this is how we need to do this problem. So this is how we need to summarize. We'll take more such problems in the next session.